Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
So the conversation is going to be about equity, right? They're going to want to have, the buyer is going to want to have conversations with your staff about equity. You as a buyer may want to retain people in that company with equity. Set 10, 18, maybe 20% of your company aside so that they have some form of equity. And how you get to that equity is whatever mechanism you want to get to that equity, right? So the other part that they talked about in the case was that, and we were just getting to the end of it, is that a lot of the owners stay around 18 months. Some of them thrive. We already talked to some of them thrive in the company, become senior vice presidents at Lockheed Martin, and some of them just like go to the next gig. They just leave, they wither inside the other. So you as a buyer with an owner that's staying back are going to have to cope with that owner leaving. At some point they're leaving. They're not going to stay with you forever. We're small enough buyers that they're going to stay, but you do need that transition. You do need to put your arm around them and continue to have that conversation with them. I'm the new owner. This is the new strategy. We agreed to this before we bought the company. That's a lot of the courtship is based on the new strategy. You as the new owner and bringing that new strategy to bear. We're going to be rolling up new companies. We're going to be adding more and more. Hopefully we're going to do what Mr. Nagy does and do 20, how many deals?
You mean Marcus Bauer, yeah. 23 deals.
Yeah, 23. Hopefully we're going to be doing it. And that means the environment is going to have to deal with all of these new people, right? We're going to be piling desks on top of each other. There's going to be so many people here. So hopefully you've got that owner communicating that story to their own company, and now you've got another owner, and you've got to communicate that story. Keep them for as long as you can to get that transition until you've got that management team in place. Once you've got the management team in place, you're not going to keep owners because you won't need the new owners going forward. Like once you're 30, 40, 50, $60 million, you're not going to need the owner of a $4 million company to stay. Unless they have a specific technical value.
Sometimes you're going to unlock value.
Yeah.
That you didn't know was there.
Yeah. You're going to release it.
And then when they see that you take your $4 or $5 million company, which was his or hers or theirs, and all of a sudden you're $12, $15 million, and well, shit, I thought of that. Well, and then if you've got them to part of the formula is that they get part of the upsurge.
Yeah.
Then they're going to be coming up with ideas that they were either afraid to use because they may fail, or they thought they couldn't get the money. And so I've been surprised.
They didn't have the confidence, right? Yeah. They didn't have the confidence in themselves, right? And this theory, this mechanism is called second bite at the apple.
Because they know the business inside out.
They do, but they've never had the temerity or the gumption or the ability or the confidence, just the confidence to go in and figure out how to grow it to the next level. But then you're going to unlock amazing technical value in some of these people. I know that you're looking at some technology, some technical expertise, and these people have been managing accounting and finance and HR, but what they really are is fantastic technicians at whatever the business is. They're just great at it. They're a great nurse or they're a great cybersecurity expert. And if you give them this notion of a second bite at the apple, what that means is I'm going to buy you out, you're going to stay, and I'm going to give you a chunk of the holding company. I'm going to give you a little piece, 1%, 2%, 3%, however you do it. However you make that available to them. And you convince them, or you sell them upon, or you just show them the opportunity. Some of them will say, I want that second bite at the apple. Because we're not going for the $4 million company. We're going for the $400 million company. So I know 1% of a $400 million company is a boatload of money.
And that's
still
there
$4
when
million.
we talk about selling them the dream, make them part of it, right?
Yeah.
Excited, right?
Yeah.
But you better deliver.
Yeah.
You have to deliver.
Now,
right?
in some cases, some of your board members, hopefully all your board members, have been part of big exits.
Yes.
And look at if we'd been part of this exit, and the employees split up $100 million out of that pool you were talking about, and the director and the employees got this. In my particular case, it was not uncommon in those days. A $40,000 a year secretary 35 years ago was a high-priced secretary. It was not uncommon for her to make $100,000 a year with the bonuses, etc. Okay, plus you got stock. So and when you can show that and demonstrate that, and just as the Rick Scott, for those that are in healthcare and for those that are focusing in on hospitals, Rick Scott did it 30 years ago. Peter H. did it 3 days ago. Powerful. No money. Well, Rick had $100,000, but that's close enough to no money. No money, 35 years apart. That's powerful. That's powerful. And it's even true.
Yeah, you got to deliver on the story.
Oh, yeah.
You have to show them equity events, and that's why your board is there, because they've already been through equity events, and they're going to hold your feet to the fire. And hopefully you've had 1 or 2 equity events going into this, and if you haven't, you're going to have to build. If you haven't, you're going to have to build up your reputation with exactly what Dan's been fucking screaming at us from the beginning. Do the next deal. You gotta prove yourself. You're a deal maker, right? Because if you're a deal maker, that means you're eventually going to exit. Because the pain of doing every one of these deals requires you to exit at some point. You're gonna go fucking insane, right?
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
You're gonna end up on that cruise ship, right, Dan?
Well, yeah.
You're gonna end up on the cruise ship at some point.
We're 37 cruises.
Right. I can't see Dan on a cruise, man.
No, I'm going next year for my birthday. Sally's taking me on 2 cruises.
Yeah, that's how you told me that.
Okay.
Did you wear a top hat and walk around with a cane?
No, I don't. But I do pounce around looking like this.
Oh, that's cool.
But we haven't taken our dogs on the cruise. The guys, helicopters bring their dogs to the boat.
Yeah, you gotta prove yourself in the market. Yeah. Otherwise, the people won't stay. So this is down the road, but for now, that article, the document that I've commented on, was talking about the problems that occur that motivate a seller to become a seller, to identify a buyer, and then for that seller to put themselves in the buyer's shoes to say, well, what does a buyer want to buy? They go back and start cleaning up their company. Now, in some cases, a lot of people go, the very act of thinking that I needed to clean up my act for a seller made me clean up my act, and now I'm going to keep it. So that happens, right? They come off the market after that. They go, oh, shit. I didn't need to charge.
It's like you clean up your own house. It's like, oh, this is pretty good.
Like nothing. So in my company, I had 2 floors of a building. So we occupied 2 floors. I had 1 room, we called it the war room, and I had installed, I guarantee you that room was 50 feet across. So on one wall, the whole wall was just a whiteboard wall, and I had them permanently mark in with some type of tape. I don't know what it was. It doesn't matter. Basically a spreadsheet, just the cells of a spreadsheet. And then we had last year's numbers. Then we had January, February, March, April, all the way across. And then we had next year's projections. And then I had 16 metrics. And they were not accounting metrics. I mean, some of them were numbers, but they were not accounting document metrics. They weren't things that like that you'd see on a balance sheet, right? But they were things like pipeline. What was my turnover? That's right. The KPIs, the key, the key drivers of the company. And so I would manage the company like that. And so you have to be really big about driving performance in your company. And the reason I got to that spot is because there was a number of times I just got myself in trouble. Because you're growing, right? The bad shit happens. And then you just got to get back down to basics, right? Lean. And once you start to identify what those KPIs are, what drives your company's revenue, and what's chewing your company's revenue, right? There were no leased cars. There was no nice offices. There was no first-class plane tickets for anybody. None of that. Cut. And once you remember, I talked about the air cards, the Verizon air cards. Cut. Get rid of all that. Everybody needs to bring their cell phones. I don't know if you're old enough, but people used to expect you to buy a cell phone for them and have a cell phone account. Now it's like, no, that's your cell phone. But I do business calls on it. Well, great, good for you. You run a risk. They're going to keep all the data there. You run that risk, but cut as many costs as possible. So you're thinking, I need to sell the company, but then you clean up your company and you go, I don't want to sell it. I think I can keep it now. So it makes you a better owner. And think of the conversation we just heard in the classroom, right? Maybe that individual will become a better owner as a result of what was being said to him.
That's a very
but in general, they want to sell.
From your lips to Allah's ears.
Yeah. I know. So you want to clean up your company. They're going to clean it up. They're going to put lipstick on the pig, and hopefully they put themselves back into the model of being a buyer. They look at it from a buyer's perspective. You have the negotiation. You figure out what the buyout's going to look like. Hopefully they stay for some period of time to transition, and then you're going to exit them out. And that's a traditional model.
The only thing we haven't covered yet was if they don't hit the earnout
Bye-bye.
limits, sell it.
Bye-bye. First of all, you don't pay their earnout.
Yeah, exactly. You
That's
don't,
it. They're done.
But you usually don't. Is it not like also with a percentage key? Like let's say you don't hit the.
I don't do that stuff. I used to,
It's
I used
just
to
like
get
on or off. Yeah?
I used to get it's binary.
on or
It's
off.
binary. 0-1.
Okay.
I used to get I hit 80% of my target.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
like,
I don't start making profit until we hit 95%.
No, that's not what I mean.
It's your last dollar that's the profit.
You set like a level, and then if you do hit it, you get like 30% of that.
You mean a premium?
On top, an overperformance bonus.
Not on top. It's just like from a tranche that is set aside, you just get a percentage, and if you underperform, you also don't lose everything.
You lose everything.
You lose like a percentage.
I take it all away from you.
So you do binary.
It's binary. Look, you know when they say I make 5%, like at the end of the day, you make 5% profit, right? And somebody goes, I made 95% of my target. My argument is, yeah, but it's the last $5 that is profit. All of this was expensive. So you haven't made shit. I needed you to get past the 95 into the 100 and 120. Well, if I make 120, if you make 120%, I will be generous. And then it becomes completely discretionary. And I've had people in the history where you walk up to them and here's 10 grand. Thank you very much. Right?
Do you do hurdle rates like that they can recover like what they lost?
No. Does the business recover what it lost? Does the business recover what it lost? It never does.
What's the punishment if they're not hitting it?
If you're consistently not hitting, it's termination.
Hey,
They've already got paid.
To me, not hitting the hurdle rate once.
Yeah, you're gone. Yeah. You're gone.
Adios.
To me, it's a warranty and rec from that owner, right? So
but you hold on to the 600K, so they won't get.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a.
And chances are they don't hit the first year.
They're not
They're not gonna hit.
An earnout is exactly what it implies. You have